And as we all know, over communicating is better than under communicating. So next we're going to talk about some like basic tool sets for communication that we use. So one of them is, of course, mail, that nobody really uses nowadays, except Vance Brown when they send change order quotes. Another common one is email, cell phones, text messaging, video and web conferencing, like we're doing right now. Fax? Yeah, it's true. And then some of Walters and Wolf's communication tools. Well, we communicate using all of the above, but also we communicate through our shop drawings, by issuing RFIs, by doing submittals. And is there any others that you guys can think of?
The IAL.
Oh, the IAL, that's a good one that I forgot to mention.
In-person
communication,
face-to-face, which is like the most important. If anyone's ever worked for Watts.
Yeah, really good ones. I was also thinking, 3D models. We often exchange, we get 3D models from the architect, we send ours, we get 3D models from the steel subcontractor. So this whole presentation is just going to talk about using 3D modeling to enhance communication, as I mentioned. So the software that we currently use is Revit, which is incredibly useful for drafting and engineering departments. It's great at generating cost schedules for sales. It's great at clash detection. It's really good at producing real life information that we use, such as glass, metal, and miscellaneous data. But unfortunately, it takes about 3 months to learn, to navigate, and years to really master. So the way, I guess, what I'm proposing is something that's a little bit easier, and that's Sketchup. I don't know are any of you familiar with Sketchup?
Yep.
Have you?
I can spell it.
It's like ketchup with an S.
You probably still can spell it.
Totally. Okay. Well, SketchUp is more of an intuitive 3D modeling tool that lets you edit 2D and 3D models. It's got this funny, which they patented, I guess, the push and pull method that allows you to basically extrude any surface into 3D shapes. And according to the internet, an average person can learn to operate it pretty well within 45 days. So that's the end of our short slideshow. And next we're going to go through some examples of how, well, we're going to look at the SketchUp platform first. So if you don't have an account on SketchUp, SketchUp is actually really easy. You can access it through your browser. So by going to app.sketchup.com, but before all that, you want to make an account. So you would go to sketchup.com/try SketchUp, and then you would go through these steps. I'm using it hopefully for a personal reason, and then you would put in your email information. You would get a Trimble ID, and then we can fast forward to the interface. So again, this is just I'm accessing this through the Chrome browser.
Yeah, Vance Brown uses this a lot with their other stuff. Big time.
They do? Is it the project engineers that use it, or?
It's actually one of the project managers that I'm working with right now that's using quite a bit of SketchUp.
What does he use it for?
Because it's that Arriaga house. They're drawing details and what they think it's going to be.
Oh, gotcha.
Exactly.
So not like on a commercial building, but maybe something smaller.
Well, I don't know. I mean, ask LT about that with Brokaw. See if they've been using it on Brokaw with her.
Because they're not using it on Ardenwood.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, I guess it depends on who's doing it, but it's helpful with small stuff, but it can also prove helpful with a larger scope, and I'm going to show you guys how. So you're here kind of in the home page, and when you create a new template, you know, you would choose feet and inches. How blurry is this, by the way?
It's not blurry.
Looks good.
Okay, great. So then you're in this space sort of, and you have this nice lady that follows you around everywhere. And it's pretty easy to use. So this would be the menu button. This is what you would title this particular project. This little search bar will be your best friend. If you don't know where to find a tool, you just simply type it here. So on the left side, we have, you know, the basic tools for drawing. We have the eraser, the paint, which I never really use, and then the line, which is going to be your best friend. So when I say that SketchUp is very intuitive, that's because you can, in a matter of minutes, you can create, you know, something that's going to be able to illustrate your ideas. So we have the line tool, we have the arc, we have the rectangle, and we also have the what the heck's the circle tool.
So Gabriel, I know this is going to sound like a dumb question, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just like your pad of paper and pencil, essentially.
Yeah, well, yeah. I kind of think of Becky and how she would just go all out on like hand sketches and stuff like that,
Yes.
which was great.
She's
But
really cool.
now if you tell me to do a hand sketch, like, I don't know, it's like, who does that?
When Gabriel told me
I
about
do.
this, I said, I'm excited because I suck at sketching. So
I do too, but that's really the I don't.
Yeah.
Not as,
Yeah, and I know it can seem, you know, kind of daunting of like, oh my God, 3D modeling, like what is all this? But if you even tried opening Revit and trying to use that, it's really hard,
yes.
I think. So anyway, so you can see the different axes, right? The blue one goes up, the green one goes this way, the red goes this way. And I'm just gonna illustrate, like, I don't know how to draw a 6-inch slab from a rectangle. So I click on the rectangle tool. I actually use the arrow keys to toggle between the different axes, as you can see. So I'm gonna draw it on the green axis. And then at the bottom of my screen over here, you can see that there's the kind of dimensions. And the way that you use that, you could start with like the width times the height. So you would type in, I don't know, maybe do just a cube, a 6x6.
Where do you type it into, and what do you mean the arrow keys?
So when you, so we can go back.
Sorry, I probably should take like the super beginner class.
No, you're fine. So you click on the rectangle
Yeah.
tool, right?
Uh-huh.
Then you use your arrow keys on your keyboard to toggle
Oh,
between
okay.
where
On the
where you
keyboard.
want to put it on in reference to all these axes, right? So I'm going to put it on the green. As soon as you click, it starts generating a rectangle.
Okay.
And then you don't have to do anything. You just type in the dimensions that you wanted. And those dimensions should pop up here in this bottom one. So even though it looks crazy right now, if I type 6,6, it'll create a square. So with this, the concept that SketchUp uses is that this creates a face. This is what you call a face. And then this is the other side of the face. When you extrude something, you want to be extruding it on the white face, because otherwise it's going to create kind of like a hollow. Anyway, so I have a rectangle, and here's the patented push-pull tool. And I can just click on that, hover over the face, click on the face, and then whoop, it extrudes it into a 3D shape. And again, you can see the values over here. And if I want a particular value, I just type it in. In this case, I don't know, I want 12 inches. So then it creates that. And I can do that to every single side of the face if I want to make this larger. And that's pretty much it. So that's just to show you how easy it is to create a volume.
So when you were typing your dimensions on the bottom right, you didn't put like feet or inches. How does it?
I did not.
How does it
because
want?
by default it's in inches. So if I type a number, it's going to automatically think it's inches. If I
Gotcha.
want it in feet, I just put the apostrophe.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of the how easy it is. The other tools are for, you know, move. I have no idea what this one does. Then you have the tape measure. If you want to get a dimension from one point to the other, it tells you. And it's also to create guides. So let's say I wanted to extrude this to 6 feet. So you see this dotted line, it's creating a guide. So then I would type 6 feet and it would create it over there. Then I could take my push and pull tool, put it on this face, and then pull it to 6 feet. So it's super easy, super intuitive, to be honest. Somebody, is that a question or what is that?
Yeah, that looks like a good question.
Where is it? I can't look at the
It says,
question.
can you import from CAD?
Yeah.
You know what? On the free version, I don't know if you can, but I have the studio version, and I can import Revit models or 2D CAD files. So okay, so you can what I was planning on doing is just kind of showing you this. Then on this side, you have the different tabs for the information on this entity. So for example, it's just telling me the total area of this face. If you tag it, then, you know, it'll show up there. What I use most often is just the materials. So here's you know, different colors. If you click here, it'll have different colors and textures. So let's just imagine that this is a glass box. So I would click onto the glass and then apply that to the surfaces, and it would make it transparent.
How come we can't see Betty?
Now you can see her now.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
She's awfully tall. She's been on that phone a long time.
So that's pretty much it. And so it's super easy again. So next I'm going to show you kind of what I use it for. So I use it for same thing, communicating. So in this instance, you know, I went out to the field because I have a buyout handrail system, but the people aren't very coordinated. So I pretty much have to figure out a bunch of stuff for them. So then I went out to the field and with my iPad, I took a picture of this condition, right? And everybody's kind of scratching their head. One person saying, oh, we should do this, or oh, we need to cut the top portion of this, or oh, we need to notch this curve. And nobody can kind of reach a consensus. Nobody's really on the same page. So then I said, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out there, take some measurements, and kind of illustrate what I have that could work in my mind into a 3D model. So that's what I did. So I'll show you what that looks like. So this is that same condition.
Damn, Gabriel. I might
I
have
took-
to hire you on the side.
That's not from your iPad, right?
No, this is this is on SketchUp.
And you have not the free version.
No, this is so the not the free version comes with an app, but I never use the app. I just use the browser.
Gotcha.
So this, you can create this with the free version.
Okay.
So so yeah, I kind of did the, I don't know where the heck all the dimensions would go.
I know. I was gonna say, does it show dimensions always, or do you turn it off or on, or what do you have to?
No,
click
that's using these little tools. So again, it's gonna be kind of, if you decide to use it, it's gonna be a little bit of an investment on your part, but I think that the what you're gonna get out of it is ultimately worth it.
So,
So-
quick question for you. How long did it take you, for instance, to make this model?
Yeah.
To do this,
And
Mhm.
dimension it.
oh my god, just a couple minutes. Yeah.
Shut up.
I'm
Wow.
serious. So
I'm
I
gonna
would
give you
do.
a sketch and see how fast. I'm gonna time you and like watch you do it.
Yeah, I'm serious. So because it doesn't, what I was mentioning to Rudy and Marco is that it doesn't have to be 100% dead on. Like this isn't AutoCAD.
So when you make your dimensions, say you draw your shoe.
Yeah,
Your shoe doesn't really have to be super like, doesn't have to be, 3 inches tall, but you can modify that little number on the left to say that it's 3 inches
correct,
tall.
correct.
So you're inputting those numbers on the side.
Well, these are real, but you could do that as you
Okay.
mentioned it. So yeah, so I kind of detailed everything. I said you have the stair stringer, which is finished floor. The top of this paver is finished floor. You have this curve that's 3/4 inches too tall. This is the step that you see. It's about an inch or an inch and an eighth. And then I said, okay, this is what it needs to happen. So I made that, then I copied it. And then I told them, this is what it's going to look like. We're going to make it up with cladding. This is the dimension above that you're going to see of the shoe above finished floor. You need to notch the curve. You need to put a paper. And that's how that's going to look.
You did that on your own? You came up with that solution?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm super proud of you.
So yeah, and then a different condition that I could show you. So
Did they buy it?
I think they will. It's in their court because they wanted to put a panel here, but to me, it doesn't really make sense to put
Nah,
a panel and block the stair. I don't know.
The cladding is a really good idea.
So that was okay. Here we go. This condition, right? So I have the top of the shoe being, a certain distance from the precast, and I have all this build up and stuff like that. Waterproofing is supposed to go over it. So I just wanted to get confirmation from the GC of like, okay, are we really going to do this? Because if not, then it's going to look like crap. Because if we, actually it was this one. Yeah. So this is kind of what's happening. Again, same thing. I put the shoe more or less correctly to the in relationship to the paver, and then I said, we're going to have cladding. We have all this crap. Are you going to be able to push the paver and notch it 2 inches, and then have this left over? And that's what needs to happen.
Hey Gabriel, do you think you can show us how you create the shoe? How you like extrude the rectangle and then notch out the core?
Yeah, of course. So we can go back to the original one. So super simple. We can start with a line. So, and again, it doesn't have to be 100% accurate. So we start with 1 point, and you see it's going up in the blue axis. You can, I guess, what do you call that? Constrict it to whatever axis by using the arrow keys. So in this case, I want to keep it in the blue. I know my shoe is 4 1/8. I typed in 4.125, and it's showing up on the bottom right. Then I click. And I know in width, my shoe is 2.5 inches. Something happened there, I don't know. What the hell? Oh, I made it way too big. Anyway, so again, 4.125. Then I have 2.5 of width. I restrict it to the blue, again, 4.125. I know that these little things are like 7/8, so I just type 7/8. I go down and I know, kind of have an idea. Maybe we'll just say that this ends like an inch from here, so it's going to be 3.125. And then I do it on the other side, so 7/8 down 3.125. I connect them. You see, it created a surface now. So then I just extruded whichever way.
How did you do the
Nice.
What was that, Candace?
How did you do the extrude?
Push and pull, right?
Yes, here, push and pull. So then again, you made a mistake on the length. You can just correct it. So that's kind of what that looks like.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Make that chicken head.
What? Where?
Little chicken head seal right there.
Oh no, that's a different thing. So that was yeah. So that was that. So let me show you how I kind of send it to the customer. And I sent it actually. So I actually pulled up the model on my computer while I was walking the job site, and I went through it with them, and I said, hey, you know, this is kind of what I'm thinking. What do you think? And that's how you try to get your idea across. Now I have, for the engineer, actually, this was an RFI that I sent. I had a condition where this was just a mess. So then I did the same thing. I took a picture of what was going on. I got the dimension, you know, from here to the slab. And then I went back to SketchUp and recreated this whole condition and kind of offered a solution. So I said, well, I think, you know, you need to put this here, confirming with the engineer first, and then showing different views for them.
So can you draw
Yeah,
one
what's up?
thing like that top picture up there and then just rotate it and just create that different view, or do you have to draw the other view?
No, you can just, the good thing about it is that, look, I created it here, and then I can just rotate it and take different snippets of it to show them.
Awesome.
So that's basically what it is. And same thing with the termination of the handrail. You know, I kind of gave them 3 options of like, I don't know what they want. So is it going to do this? Is it going to have a little nub, or is it going to, you know, be like that? So that's kind of what I use it for. Now, I also used it for the engineer, because structural engineers are, they're kind of old school, so they think about everything in 2D. So it's kind of hard to tell them like, hey, this is kind of what's going on, without really showing them, because sometimes they can't picture it. So this is from the SketchUp model of my job, Stevens Creek. So I had a conflict where I had a brace right behind the embed, and the tails were conflicting. So I said, hey, can I shift the embed? Can I turn this into an F clip? This is what it's going to look like. And then that's how I got their input. I had another instance where I had, you know, these panels that weren't supported at all. And so if I had tried to do that with the Revit model, it would have been impossible. It would have taken me a very long time. Or I could have done a drafting request and it still would have taken a very long time.
Hey, Gabriel, can
Yeah.
you like on that one, it was like the canopy that you had, can you take a cut through that and it shows you everything?
Which canopy?
Go back. Hold on, Bill. Go back a couple. You had like where you had the sketch of, no, that. Can you like cut through there and get a section?
Totally. So you can rotate it, right? And like I mentioned, this little tool is going to be your best friend. So you could actually type section here, and it will, you can create a section plane. So same idea, right? With the blue, and you toggle to get what.
Hold on, sorry.
No, you're fine. So you toggle to get how you want to orient the section. In this case, the section was placed like way over here, so that's why everything's invisible. But if you just press the move key, the move tool, and then you drag it along the red axis, it's going to uncover it. And then you can actually zoom in, and while still holding, you know, the same command. And once you go through it, it'll start cutting it. Just like that. I think that answered your question, Candace. Okay. So yeah, this is what I had. I had a lot going on this job with steel braces and stuff like that. I wasn't too sure what was going on with the embed. I kind of noticed on the 3D model of Revit that it was going to have kind of a clash, but for me to manipulate that and try to find out exactly what's going on is not easy. So then I actually imported all of this to SketchUp, and I was able to move the mat clip and see what was going on and look at the interaction between this tab that's welded onto the beam and the brace to avoid that conflict. And at the same time, using this style, which is X-ray, I noticed that the steel that I have to support my fin panels. Sorry, I wish we had better computers, but they're really slow. So the steel that was supporting my fin panels actually stops here, and then I have these two that are just floating. So I took all of this, and this is what you see. And that was my kind of proposed solution of like, okay, I could do a tube and extend it. And then using SketchUp, I was able to tell how far I could stretch it before it clashed with the panel. And then with that, I was able to go to the engineer, show him this, and show him, all of these dimensions, and suggest, oh, can we do one large clip that follows the slope? That's basically it.
Pretty impressive, Gabriel. Good job.
Thank you. So yeah, I can kind of follow up with an email of like links, useful links for video tutorials on how to use SketchUp. But as I mentioned, it's really intuitive. It's really an easy tool, and it can add a lot of value to what you do.
Yeah, nice job.
I had a quick question, Gabe. Did you
Sure.
say that CAD and Revit can export, or you can export a model or a detail into SketchUp?
Correct.
And
So
can you get like a head detail with glass and then extrude in CAD and then extrude that to extend it to make an opening?
yeah, you can totally do all of that. This actually, what you see is my Revit model with the steel model, with the CAD steel model. So this is all imported, and I can cut sections through it. I can draw stuff on it. So yeah, you can definitely do that.
And then okay, because then you also said like, yeah, this is the Stevens Creek SketchUp model or whatever. So like, did the customer give that to you, or did you create that yourself from something that we made?
Yeah,
like, did you export our Revit model or make it yourself?
Correct. That's exactly what I did. So it's just a matter of either doing it yourself or just asking the drafter. But you export the Revit model into a 3D CAD model, and then SketchUp is able to convert that into what you see.
So it's not from Revit directly, it's all from CAD. So our drafting exports to 3D CAD, or you just get a CAD file and then
Correct.
SketchUp reads CAD?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So in the same manner, this is an architectural CAD file. And I just simply took it, I stood it up, and then I projected everything to know what was going on. If you see those lines.
Yeah, no.
So that's it. So kind of, it's just introducing the possibility of like, hey, how can we better communicate? How can we create more value for our customers? And I think learning how to take baby steps and doing a little bit of 3D modeling, I think it's a good idea. So I hope you guys enjoyed this short presentation.
Yeah, it was good. It was real good.
yeah, if you have any questions, if you don't know how to work something out on SketchUp, feel free to reach me. If you try to import a CAD file using the free version of SketchUp and you're unable to, I can do that for you. That's fine.
Right on, Gabriel. Good job.
Okay.
Nice work, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Gabriel.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gabriel. Awesome.
You're the man. Good job. See you guys.
See you guys.